welcome to another episode of DxTalks, and this one is very exciting. I think the world of blockchain is always on the innovation side, always adjusting, always moving forward. And it has been there for the last 14 years, 15 years, trying to bring some new challenges or solutions to new challenges that we are facing in our world. Was it from business, was it from enterprises, or even on our daily lives? And today we are joined by a good friend of mine, Rami el Sabeh, the co-founder of Silverline, and ambassador of MENA BSV chain. We're going to be hearing more of what is BSV and why it is important, and what does Silverline actually do. So with that, let me get Rami on this. Welcome, Rami, to DxTalks.
Thank you, Rudy. Thank you for having me here. It's nice to talk to you and to meet again. I guess we met at the DxTalks last time, and it was a very nice event that we saw each other in.
Indeed. And that was an event, maybe we'll talk about it in a couple of minutes. Rami, can you first introduce yourself as Rami, as a co-founder of Silverline?
Yes, I am Rami el Sabeh. I come from an IT enterprise solutions history. I've been before working with the Medias Group, one of the largest MENA region providers of services. And other than that, I have been into personally through a lot of experiences from networks, infrastructures to data centers, going to cloud. And actually now for the past 5 years, I've been into blockchains. And this is what brought the whole idea of Silverline after actually we went through a lot of research and studying and moving forward by accessing where the digital economy is going. So we found out that blockchain becomes a really important part of the next generation of internet, if we want to say it. And that's what we brought up Silverline into the picture. Maybe we'll talk about that later on.
Yeah, if you can tell us a little bit more about Silverline, what does it do, what's its specialties, and what's its role, what is it trying to achieve?
All right, Silverline is mainly an ecosystem of partners. What brought this all up is actually the combination between technology, blockchain development, and economics, all together through different partners from different places around the world. And what brought us all together is actually to consult on how blockchain solutions can enter the existing markets and solve pain points within existing solutions that is already up into the market. And by that, we have done a lot of partnerships around different type of solution providers where we are able to study and sandbox their solutions, test them out on the market, and then if we find it efficient, and especially that these solutions are up to the government layers and public sector and the private sector together, and then we bring these solutions to mainly focused on the MENA region markets.
Very interesting to understand the mission and then how really Silverline is trying to do and trying to work moving forward. I know that Silverline and others are building, and I saw in DxTalks. Maybe let's get DxTalks involved, and then we move forward. Tell us more about how was really DxTalks. I was surprised by the number of companies that are developing on BSV. And then maybe you can explain BSV, and then we move to DxTalks. I think it's better so that our audience can really coordinate and then understand what is BSV.
Yeah.
So what is BSV, and then how is it really helping enterprises? And then we'll move to DxTalks.
Okay, BSV is actually, the name comes from Bitcoin Satoshi's vision. So after we know, like, the world of blockchain started, as you were saying before, 15 years ago, or since the white paper came out from Satoshi Nakamoto. And since that time, there's a lot of been debates of how blockchain should be working, either based on the standards, so how the standards should be working on proof of work or anything that is proof of stake. And then they're trying to create, let's say we're going to be talking about 3,000 new generations of blockchains. But BSV comes from the original Bitcoin Satoshi vision, which is actually setting up the Bitcoin protocol, but on unbounded scaling. So unbounded scaling means that the block size doesn't need to have a limit, and that's where actually the power of a blockchain should be enabled by creating a system that can handle so many transactions with a very low fees, and at the same time to be much more efficient by the pricing level, where a lot of people can join in, either companies or people or governments, utilizing the service very cheaply and getting the output of actually the sustainable and traceability of a blockchain and the security of that, where it will evolve the era of currently, like how the networking works, how the internet works from Web 2 to Web 3. And that's what will actually BSV is looking forward to bring to the market.
Very interesting.
So current,
But what
yeah.
I'm going to ask you about, how can really enterprises benefit from this BSV? It's very important. We have a press release was issued about Terranode, and then how can they benefit from this? What is Terranode actually, and why is it important? And what is the differentiator? Because I know for sure it's going to be one of those big boom, big bam moments, because it's blockchain that is really changing with Terranode.
Yes.
Please.
So what blockchain gives is, as a standard, it would give usually security for data transactions. So people can record data on a ledger that can be, distributed ledger that can exist there. But what if this ledger becomes on a so much high scaling? As we know that in our current era in digital transformation, there is the new generations of internet, the 5G, the IoTs, and all of this requires interactions between enterprise people and solutions that exist there. And this is what actually the Terranode is capable of doing. It is able to handle so much transactions. We're talking about reaching to 1 million transactions per second. So there isn't any system in the whole world that actually can manage this type of scalability. When actually you're talking, so if we're talking about a simple type of transactions, let's say MasterCard or Visa card, they can handle per second around 24,000 transactions worldwide. What if you have a system that can handle 1 million transactions on top of that? What are you able to do? Okay, so a lot of companies and governments and enterprises are interested in tokenization, and this is something that's really important. So you can have any type of a product tokenized and brought up to the market, and then linking it by a digital passport. Now, as you see, the whole cryptocurrency versions of things that they're trying to create NFTs and things that are more digital, but it costs a lot of money to pay to these the minting on these blockchains. But the real blockchain should actually be microtransactions, should be very cheap, and you'll be able to have this capability of running a huge amount of transactions, either if it was by enterprises or if it was governments putting data on top of that, let's say identity verification, all of that type of data that requires the security. But again, this system doesn't exist currently in the current, let's say, ecosystem of internet that exists.
That's very interesting. How, I'm just thinking by myself the amount of use cases that will be built on such a system that is very, very low transaction fee, and you can even call it, to a certain point, it's free. And then secondly, the amount of speed, if I have a warehouse of things that I want to work on, or I have unlimited number of transactions per second or per day or whatever, I can now rely on a system that will back me up, and then most importantly be on the blockchain, because I do need the scalability, the security, the everything related to the blockchain. And then for the first time, we're seeing this that will be released in early 2024, right?
That's correct. And the part of it that this system will be more efficient and cheaper than existing legacy systems. So if I put my data on that blockchain, the cost of verification is equal to zero. So I can have any type of user verify this type of data for cheap. Definitely we can have it on a permissioned or an not permissioned way, where I am able to put my own security. But at the same time, it is so cheap when you're running on these transactions. You can run thousands and thousands of transactions with using for a few dollars, either for tokenizations or building smart contracts or building all of that type of a structure on top of BSV blockchain.
Yeah, that's interesting use cases. here, and then this is very important so that we can get a feel of what's happening or what's going to happen in the near future and how people are going to be utilizing and then using the blockchains. And then you mentioned microtransactions. Can you
Yes.
elaborate a little bit on this?
Okay, microtransactions is, let's say currently I want to transfer for you $1. How much fees would it take for a normal transactions to be taken from that? Now, would it be efficient enough to send you 10 cents? Actually, this is what we're talking about. Microtransactions is going back to that sense of the penny into the transaction. So microtransactions, I can send you data that doesn't cost me few cents even. So it's almost zero. And I can send this data, write it forever in an immutable ledger, and then you can able to verify that. So in the future of blockchain, it will need actually to eventually embed itself with the internet, because actually the whole internet infrastructure would be able to secure it in such a way that any type of a service, let's say if I'm watching Netflix can be actually all of it streamed, as much as you watch, as much as you can pay directly. So you can even split everything by second. I can get to tokenizations of energy. So let's say if you're utilizing some type of an energy, now in Lebanon we see that there's a lot of solar powered, let's say, houses. They are able to utilize these numbers to interact with the blockchain and actually sell and monetize these kind of sorry, I lost my computer there. To monetize these type of transactions, where I'm able to calculate based on the blockchain doing all the accounting system cheaper than any existing legacy system. So every minute, every second, I can do a transaction that cost split of a cent.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So going back to GITEX a little bit,
Yes.
can you walk us through why was GITEX important milestone, and then what was the output of GITEX, and then who participated? It's a story, I think, a very
Yeah.
interesting story, because I met a lot of interesting projects. Maybe,
Yes.
I don't know if we can highlight later on one of them, and then to see
Sure.
those use cases in real life.
Okay, so GITEX, as most of the people know, is one of the biggest, I think it is the biggest technology event that happens in the region. And as we know that Dubai became already a hub for that place. So when we're talking about if solutions exist in the market that has an impact, that is groundbreaking, definitely GITEX becomes a place where people connect and reach out to companies, reach out to projects, reach out to governments, and showcase these type of solutions. And currently, there is on BSV around, I think, 500 projects, but we chose few of these projects to come in to showcase their solutions. And actually, there were 10 different companies from around the world, some from the US, from Norway, some from London, all of them coming for the same reason, actually, is going to the market, actually getting the outreach from the Middle East region, which is a very important region for the adoption of such solutions, because it combines all of the populations from around Africa or Asia, and all of them looking for the ultimate, most efficient type of solution to run their businesses. And it was a great event. Actually, we have a lot of interactions, and as you saw that during the event, we had on the interest of the Web 3.0 our booth there, because this is what it meant, that this is the roadmap to the Web 3.0, and our company was in the front of the lines, including all the other 10 different companies that have each one of them different solutions. We're talking about supply chain, cybersecurity solutions, tokenizations, payment services, all of them together in one booth that created a really nice vibes and energy and connections to the whole community.
Indeed, it did. And then, you mentioned so many. And then I also discovered gaming on blockchain. And then,
Yes,
there's a lot of variety of solutions and that can be built on blockchain,
of
and
course.
especially when it becomes a scalable solution. So it can help you and it can support you, because sometimes building on a blockchain, we always don't go as a default building on the blockchain.
Yeah.
But now with simplifying things, making it virtually, priceless or without any price to a certain point, that can support me. And then it's an open technology where you can develop at any point of time. So this is where adoption comes in, and then we get more projects. And soon with Terranode, that will be another discussion, because if we are able to scale globally, I think this is what we've been waiting for, right?
Exactly, and this is what currently the community is building on. There's a lot of a huge development community that are starting to switch from normal let's say blockchains that are already built on Ethereum or anything, and now finding that the really solid ground, it's not building on the quicksand. The solid ground into this technology is based on BSV. And there's other also enterprises such as consulting like IBM Consulting and other different enterprises now noticing that this is a really scalable network, or a network of nodes, or it's a infrastructure, in order for them to start building their solutions on top of that.
Yeah. Rami, I'm going to ask you a question about the difference between, so that the people can know more. What is really the difference between BSV and Bitcoin and Ethereum? What makes it, other than the speed that we mentioned soon that's going to be released? What's those main differentiators? You mentioned some of them, but I don't know if you can list them into one so we can repurpose this also.
So usually when we say for us Bitcoin is BSV. It's actually Bitcoin's Satoshi's vision. So the whole concept of a blockchain is not to create a currency. It's to create a peer-to-peer cash system where it was set it up. Okay, this peer-to-peer cash system. So the difference between Bitcoin or BSV and then let's say BTC and all of that is that BTC is trying to create minimizing or keeping the block size the same in order to lift up the pricing of the coin, where people are actually finding it financially to buy it in and then go sell it and utilize it in the whole crypto market. But we know that this crypto market went into the wrong ways, because once you go, let's say, without KYCs or without actually knowing the identity of a person, that's where different scams that's happening. We already know the whole news of the whole entire crypto market space, how much scams there is in it, how much fraud. But the origin of actually Bitcoin was made to create a peer-to-peer transaction system that can handle, the new ecosystem of digital ecosystem, let's say, or digital economics or the digital economy. Okay, so the solution of Bitcoin or BSV is, in order to scale up, you need to have unbounded scaling. Unbounded scaling, it's not means unlimited. Unbounded is as long as the technology grows, the system needs to grow along with it in order to handle that type of a transaction that is secured, traceable. So for me, it is simply that this is where the history is being written. This is where the truth of data becomes crucial. This is where systems like AI or new innovations, they have a governmental or governance model in order to make sure that this data, is it true or not, or when it has been set on in time, when it has been recorded in time. And that's what the capability of a blockchain requires. It needs to be needs to be able to handle a lot of transactions. It needs to be, as we said, like with a speed. It needs to be cheap, and it needs to work on the proof of work, because proof of work is the most secure way of running of a blockchain.
Yeah. Some of the blockchains started switching to POS, and that's another topic.
Yes.
But still, POW
exactly.
is the way to go. Last question is, how can, we have viewers today watching us, how can they connect with this? How can Silverline helps them into stepping into the world of BSV? What does Silverline offer those companies, and how it can, be, and you are ambassador yourself for BSV. How can they connect? What
Yes.
social media, what websites you want to share later on?
Sure. Definitely, I would like them to access our website and check the details of what we exactly do, and who are our partners, and what kind of solutions that we are able to bring to the market. And as we know that there is a huge community of developers that they want to get into building really solutions that have an impact on society. And that's what we're trying to bring in the region, is a way that they can have a consultancy knowing what's the capabilities of the blockchain itself. We are able to provide also CTO or CEO workshops, and these workshops would help enterprises actually check this technology out, and at the same time would they be able to see solutions that already exist that they can take as a maybe minimal viable product and take it, adopt it, and start building on top of that. Or even go for, this is such a big huge environment that more and more development will come to it, and this is where actually solutions will grow and more to that segment.
Very good. Thank you. Other than the website, anything else to share so that they can connect to you? Any email? Any?
Yes, definitely. I will send my email also to reach out into. So it's Rami at silverline-group.com. And also you can reach out to me on my personal email at Gmail. I have my LinkedIn ID that also I will add to the website.
I'll add it to the description also, so you can definitely grab it.
Perfect.
Thank you, Rami. Any last things you'd like to add to this discussion before we end our episode?
The last thing that I would like to add is that the whole community who is watching, I guess it is time to actually understand what is going on around the world in a way that what type of technologies are out there, and it's good to research into these type of technologies and not go directly with the easiest way to make money. The easiest way to make money is to actually work for it and create some creative solutions. This regions is filled actually with a huge amount of human resource potential, and that's what we want to try to build specifically for our region here in the Middle East, that to go forward into projects and solutions that can be scalable also for them to their own business models.
Thank you, Rami. Thank you for joining us today. I think it's a very interesting discussion, and then we're a discussion that can be built upon for the future, because we're going to be seeing, I think, more of BSV in the market. We're going to be hearing more of BSV competing with others, not because of the competition, because of how generally it will be working and then facilitating things for enterprises especially, and then how they can benefit from it. Because now we're going to be seeing, I was on a discussion yesterday with someone for an interview. The future is about partnering. The future is about not reinventing the wheel and taking technology and then redoing it. And this is where possibly Silverline and BSV can become a partner for this, towards your digital transformation journey towards the blockchain itself.
Yes, Silverline, especially from our side, is we have three main pillars. One of them is education, so the learning model. And then, as you were saying, partnering. So it's our ecosystem of our partners. So this is an ecosystem where we can partner up with governments or with solution providers. And the third one is bringing on the creative solutions to the market. Thank you, Rudy, very much for having me here.
Thank you, Rami, and we'll see you definitely soon.
Thank you.
So as you see, another new solution. It's actually not as new, but it's a new solution that can help you advance your technologies or technology advancement and innovation in this space. So why not check it out more on the training, and then make sure to visit the websites that I will put down in the description of Silverline and BSV and Rami's contacts. So with that, we'll end our today's episode, and then we'll see you soon.